Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Randomly Offensive. Today we'll be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. So, spoiler warning if you haven't seen it, and if you do not want it to be ruined, you've been warned. This movie was amazing. And it opens up the door for so many possibilities. We're going to be talking about the return of Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen. We're going to be talking about the Sinister Six spin-off. We're going to be talking about where Tom Holland Spider-Man is now, the return of Daredevil, the return of Andrew Garfield in the Sony Spider-Man verse, and a lot to cover today. So the first thing I want to talk about is Tom Holland's rebooted version of Spider-Man that they left us with at the end of the movie. Now, they gave us everything we wanted in Spider-Man, and they gave us the version that we want, that we've loved. And now he doesn't have help from the Avengers. Nobody knows who he is. They remember fighting with Spider-Man, but they don't remember that he's Peter Parker. Which is nice, because we can still have those intermingled stories with Spider-Man and the Avengers, but he's no longer their apprentice or a new version of Iron Man. He is Spider-Man. And this allows us to see him have possibilities that he would never had before. We can see him taking on Kraven the Hunter. We can see him taking on the Rhino. Please let there be a Rhino. We can see him fighting these new versions of the Sinister Six, Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, Electro, and all of them, and have an idea of who they are, and that will add to the impact of his story arc, and I think it's going to be great to see. I think we all want to see it. What would you guys like to see the most? Would you like to see him square off with his version of Dr. Octopus and kind of know what he's about and have a better idea of who he is as a person while fighting him? Do you want him to meet Norman Osborn before he becomes Green Goblin and trying to deter him away from the path that he knows he's going to end up on at some point? These are all great things, all great speculations, and it opens up the door for all these possibilities, and it's so awesome. And yeah, we want to see it. We want to see all of it. We want to see him fight these versions of the characters he's already fought before, plus new versions. Him taking on the Rhino would be great. Him taking on Kraven the Hunter would be great. Him taking on the Lizard, his version of the Lizard, would also be great. And it'd be so cool to see not only a reboot of Spider-Man, but also rebooted in such a way that when he fights rebooted versions of these villains, he already knows why they are the way they are, and that's going to impact the story so well. Imagine him meeting Sandman and not knowing if he should hold his punches or not, because he knows that Sandman is somewhat of a decent guy, but also unpredictable. And yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun to see. So there's Tom Holland. The next one I want to touch on is Emma Stone, because there are rumors that she might be coming back as Spider-Gwen. And what's great about that is Tom Holland has already mentioned that he doesn't want to be playing Spider-Man too late into his 30s. And he mentioned that it's time for a female Spider-Man, a woman Spider-Man. Now, how do you do that without upsetting the fans? How do you do that without coming off as pushing a woke agenda? Well, you do that by giving the audience what they want. And what we would love to see is Emma Stone back as Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen has a huge fan base, and it's possible that she might come back. And there's a lot of rumors that she is. Granted, those rumors are held from way earlier, when it was still speculation that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield was going to return. But there are rumors of it. And we all know that when a rumor is started, when a rumor is surfacing, the media and the producers will go off of that, because they do want to make money. And this movie has proved that if you give fans what they want, you'll make money. So we'll definitely, for sure, get something similar. We're probably going to get a Spider-Gwen because of Tom Holland's words. Now, is it going to be a Emma Stone version? I hope so, because she's a great actor. She does a great job, and we'll have to find out. But it can happen in Tom Holland's universe because Gwen Stacy dies in Andrew Garfield's universe, and Tobey Maguire's version is just far too old. So Emma Stone just makes so much sense, and since variants can look alike, that it would be really easy. The continuity will not be misplaced. The continuity will not be misshapen. It would still be there. And I think we all want to see it. The other possibility that this No Way Home movie introduced us to was the return of Charlie Cox's Daredevil. And Daredevil's a great character. People like this character. He's a good character, and Charlie Cox played him so well. He did a good job, and we want to see it. And the way they had him being just a good lawyer and catching that brick, the way he caught that brick was so cool, and they choreographed that so well, because he caught it, and Spider-Man, because he had his spider sense, had his hand out to catch it too. That's amazing detail, and we want to see that kind of detail. If anyone deserves good detail and good storytelling, it is my man Daredevil. He's such a cool character, and him being in the MCU would change it up a little bit, make it a little darker, at least I hope. And I hope they don't do to him what they did to Kingpin and Hawkeye, but I hope they make it good. And he is already going to be returning in She-Hulk, so we have this guy. We have him in the MCU. He's going to be coming into multiple projects. However, is he going to be Daredevil at any point? I think so. I think that it would be a missed opportunity to use him. Whether they want to reboot him and pretend like the Netflix series never happened, or use the pre-existing version, I don't think we're going to care. We got the actor we want, and we got the character we want. And what are the possibilities of it, though? Say he does come from the Netflix version. We get to see him having to face bigger challenges than he's ever faced before, because now you have all these new MCU supervillains that Netflix didn't have access to that the MCU does. And so now we get to see him taking on bigger challenges and more dangerous foes. Are we going to see him go up against a new version of the Punisher? Are we going to see him go up against Kraven? Are we going to see him teaming up with the Illuminati? Because the Illuminati's coming. Is he going to be part of the Dark Avengers? That fits his character. That could be cool. There's so many things they can do with him, but they have to make him Daredevil. We want to see Daredevil. Matt Murdock is cool. He's a good character. He's a great lawyer. But it would be nice to see him as a superhero. We want to see Daredevil. We can't have Matt Murdock in there without Daredevil. It's just not going to work. So I'm looking forward to seeing the return of the Hell's Kitchen Devil. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait for it. And this movie opened up a huge possibility for it. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you want to see Daredevil fighting it out and duking it out? I think it'd be cool to see him taking on more grounded versions or more grounded heroes in the MCU. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be great. And he's definitely a match for a lot of the more land-based, earth-based threats that the MCU has. He could be a huge asset to this universe. And I hope they put him in that red suit. I hope they give him those horns and just make him shine. Now, we talked about Andrew Garfield a little bit before. It was my second video. And it's a little rough around the edges, but I'm going to go ahead and leave a link for it at the end of the video if you want to click on it to see it. But yeah, the possibilities of him coming back and being the Spider-Man in the Venom universe is exciting. It's so exciting. I felt like he got a bad run. I feel bad for the guy. He got a bad run in his first two movies. He proved that he can do it. He proved that he's a good Spider-Man when you let him be the iteration of the character that he believes he needs to be. And when he brings that character to light the way he thinks is the way it needs to be, he shines. He does a good job. He was a great Spider-Man. No Way Home proved to us that he could be good. So this is a perfect way to finally see Spider-Man versus Venom. The Venom that we want. The Venom that we have now. He can go up against him. And that universe needs a Spidey. Needs a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And this Spider-Man is a little bit darker. Andrew Garfield said it himself in No Way Home that his Spider-Man stopped pulling punches and became a little bit darker. And Sony is fine with that darker side of Marvel. Sony's fine with that more gritty storytelling, which means we can have some cool fight scenes with Spider-Man, and we can have some cool villains that the MCU will never allow. And it's just, it's a good idea. I think they need to do it. I think they need to pull the trigger on that. We can have 2 Spider-Mans. I think we can handle it. More Spider-Man at this moment. We're all in the Spider-Man days. And I think we would like that. There's not much more to be said about this. Just him coming to the Sony universe would be such a huge opportunity, and Andrew Garfield could be a great asset to the Sony universe, and they could have their Spider-Man and fight Venom and fight Morbius and take on a Sinister Six, because the Sinister Six spinoff is going to be in the Sony universe, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Always feel free to correct me, but I do believe it's going to be in the Sony universe. Having a Spider-Man in there will be the way to go. That's what you want. And Andrew Garfield's, he's perfect. He is perfect in any way. As long as they give him the same freedom he had in No Way Home to play the character that he sees fit, I think that it will be outstanding. Not to mention his costume. His costume is the best costume out of all of them. It looks like it was made by a high schooler, and that's great. That's that's what we got at the end of No Way Home. Tom Holland had an obvious homemade suit, and that's what we want from our Spidey, and Andrew Garfield gave that to us from the get-go. So, great opportunity. Definitely needs to happen. We would love it. Andrew Garfield, you're great. You really are. So, one more thing that I want to touch on is the Sinister Six. So many possibilities with the Sinister Six. So many. I mean, we can have a Sinister Six in 3 different areas. I mean, we could have kind of an idea of what's going to happen. So, a multitude of options. We got 3 options, and they could go with all 3 of them, and it'd be great. I don't think any of us would be upset about it at all. So, we could have Sinister Six in the MCU with the Spider-Man that is there now, Tom Holland Spider-Man, knowing exactly what makes him this way, and having cured them and helped them once before, but with help, is going to push that story to incredible lengths, right? And we could see new adorations, new versions of these characters without feeling like the other ones were left behind, because their story was told, their story's done, and now we get a whole new version of them in a universe where they are known of. So you don't have to spend a whole lot of time introducing them either. You can bring them in, and yeah, there's going to be some plot holes, but plot holes are good. Plot holes are fun. I had plot holes in Shang-Chi, which I will also leave at the end of this video. Shang-Chi has a lot of plot holes, but it was a good movie though. And so this could be the same way. Lots of plot holes, and just give us some fun to poke at it and tear it apart, but in the end, still give us a good movie. Because you don't have to introduce these guys with super finesse. Yeah, treat them with respect, but you don't have to have finesse with it. You can give their origins a similar version that we've already seen, so we kind of already know where these guys are coming from and why they are the way they are if you make them similar to the original cast and the original characters. So that's a huge possibility, and that would be fun to see, and it would be a nice send-off when Tom Holland is finishing his next trilogy. Now, another opportunity, another possibility is in the Sonyverse, which we already know that's happening. We're already getting one in the Sonyverse. Whether that's going to be with the Venom universe, which I think it is going to be. I think they're going to include Morbius. I think they're going to include Venom. And then we already have been introduced to Michael Keaton's Vulture in that universe. So we got 3 down, only 3 more to go. And that's another reason why we need a Spider-Man in there. Andrew Garfield, he's going to fill that spot, I hope. But here's the possibility that I'm looking the most forward to, but there's no rumors on this. And there's nothing saying that they're going to do this, but I think this is perfect. They can take the characters from No Way Home, the Sinister Five. They have to have one more in there, but the Sinister Five from No Way Home, they can take these guys, add a character, and make them working for the TVA, because these guys are variants now. They're variants. They ruined tons of timelines in No Way Home, tons of them. And now the TVA, they can take these guys and make them work for them, and we can see a TVA team of the Sinister Six going on missions and fighting variant versions of superheroes and variant versions of other villains and doing their Sinister Six shenanigans, and it'd be so cool. It'd be cool. It'd be so cool. And wouldn't that be awesome to see? And I mean, it would be a one-off. They could only do this once because these characters, these actors, they're getting old. William Dafoe, I think he's like 80 years old now, isn't he? And he did all his own stunts in No Way Home. He refused to have a stuntman. He did it all. And that's a lot to ask from an old man. But he refuses to not do that. He is going to do that. So you don't want to push him too far. And I always say that you need to give the fans what they want, but you cannot do it at the risk of the actors. So they'd have to be careful with him. But also, he wouldn't have to be the Green Goblin. He could be the man in the chair. But I don't think William Dafoe would allow that. I'm pretty sure he'd want to be in there fighting. But yeah, it'd just be so cool to see, because these are all great actors. And it'd be nice to see him just one more time. Just watch him do one more send-off and just being TVA agents. I think that'd be cool. What do you guys think? Do you think that'd be cool? I don't think that's going to happen, because this is just an idea that I came up with in my head. But I think it'd be dope. But yeah, what kind of possibilities do you guys think that this movie caused? What are you guys looking forward to the most? What things are you excited about after watching No Way Home? And what things do you wish to see? I'd love to read about it in the comments, so definitely let me know. And please remember to like and subscribe. I also have a video coming out tomorrow, The Eternals. Is it good? I know it's a little late to the game, but and I'm also working on a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness video. I'm going to be covering the trailer, working on some theories, trying to figure out what we're going to see in the movie. So keep your eyes open for that one as well. So yeah, you guys take care of yourselves and have a great day. Bye.